Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Naveen, and today we'll be looking at the new uh, video regarding NMIMS data arrangement. So, there is a new type of entrance that Nasimonji has put through. So, they are giving us a set based on a general mental ability, basically a reasoning question, but based on data arrangement. Now, some of the students have reported that the sets are relatively same as the NMAT exam, or some of them have reported that they are, little more difficult. So obviously, it comes with the perspective of each and every student. But we'll be looking at a moderate level set. Okay, so let's hope that this will help you out. Melo, will there be session for portfolio management questions? Are you talking about how to build your resume or how to take care of that? In case if Harsh, if you're asking about it, there is already a video. Please go through the playlist. There are videos related to how to build your CV or resume, and what all things you should add, what all things you should not. Fine. Okay. So let's start. So what I'll do is I'll show you the questions, I'll show you the set, and then I'll give you guys around 5 to 7 minutes, which is basically the standard time required or given that you should be able to solve this. Okay. So once I move to the slide based on questions, please take the screenshot of that. Okay. So once you have solved it, you can go back and answer the questions. So there is a game show for budding entrepreneurs called Shark Tank, where there is a panel consisting of 5 big businessmen who are called sharks S1 to S5. These sharks are from different sectors: agriculture, beauty, banking, infrastructure, and IT, not necessarily in the same order. There are 12 contestants, C1 to C12, who present their business plans in front of the sharks. If one or more of the sharks like the plan, they make investments in return for some equity in the business. So I believe most of you follow Shark Tank India, or maybe Shark Tank US or some other country. So you know how it works, right? So in layman terms, equity can be defined as a fraction of the business that is given away in return for the investment. If none of the sharks like the business plan, then it is rejected. Each investment is of rupees 1 crore. Some other information is given below. S4, which is a shark, invest rupees 6 crores in all, which includes the proposal of C1, C5, C6, whereas S5, who is from this sector, invest rupees 5 crore in all, and so on and so forth. So what you have to do is you have to read the statements and decide what should be the best representation of this particular data given to us. Okay, I'll come back to this slide. First of all, take the screenshot of the questions. If exactly 2 business proposals received investments of rupees 2 crore each, then which of the following is true? If C9 receives the investment made by the sharks in return for 25% equity, what is the value of his business? Among those businesses in which this, which of the sharks, what was the share of the total return? What is the ratio of the total returns received? So if you look at the questions and if you look at the options, you will realize that you most likely won't be able to figure out everything, right? There may be cases, most likely, that you won't be able to figure out. I'm not saying that it is definitely going to happen, but maybe. How? If you look at one of the options in question number 1, not options, if you look at the question number 1, it says if exactly 2 business proposals. Why is there an if? Because there are going to be conditions or cases. Same goes for question number 2. If you look at question number 4, you will realize that we have one of the options as either B or C. So it's going to be relatively easier to answer question number 3, 5, and 6. Right? As compared to first, second, and fourth, most likely. So here is the entire set, the entire stem. I'll give you guys, somewhere around 7-8 minutes. Go ahead, give this a try. Okay, Aditya's question is, what are the testing on managerial ability section? So they're giving you most likely, Aditya, very similar to a case study, but it is more about comprehension. So even the reasoning part is not the level of cat. It's basically Narsimunji level. Sometimes even in NMAT exam, you will see that LR questions are sometimes lengthy, little time consuming, right? Okay, Harsh, you're talking about numerical questions which are coming related to finance in competency test. So basically, Harsh, you have to understand the terminology, right? So you have to dive a little deep when it comes to finance. But since you have asked, I'll check. If we haven't done a session on that, we will do one. Okay. So your time starts now, everyone. Give this a try. So Harsh, I just found out. So I was looking at the sessions. There is going to be one session which is going to be very close, or the managerial, the section managerial ability. Okay, it's going to be on 6th of February at same time 8:30 p.m. Okay, so make sure that you log in and go through the session. If you have session manageability question too, that will really be helpful. Ha, Harsh, I said no, Abhi, 6th ko. So we had a session yesterday, which was critical reasoning. We have a session today. Tomorrow, again, we are going to have a session which is going to be based on, the verbal, the para completion, para summary. We are going to have another one which is based on assertion reasoning, which is exactly what the managerial ability part is. And then we are going to have another session the next day, which is going to be based on reading comprehension. And again, we will have another session later on, which will be based on decision making. So basically, we are going to have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 to 6 sessions almost every day at 8:30. So the managerial ability session is not related to finance as such. You can consider that to be more like decision making session. Okay, so you should obviously you should know some of the terminologies related in finance or business corporate, so that you can understand what should be the right approach to solving those. Yeah. चलो तब तक ये कर लेते हैं. Let's finish this. Shall we discuss? Chalo. So basically, we have um, 12 contestants, and then we have got 5 sharks, and the investments that every shark has made in each of the contestants or the companies that they have, uh, did not reject. They selected is 1 crore each, right? So we would need a huge table, right? We would need 14 rows or 14 columns for contestants, and then 5 rows, 5 columns and 5 rows respectively for sharks. So it's going to be a huge table. So let's do one thing. Let's write down the sharks here. So the sharks are S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. So I will need to write down from which sectors they are from, right? So what I will do is I'll write down at the corner so that I'll have enough space for the sector part. And then we will have contestants. Now contestants, they do not need any sector. So we can straight away fill this up. So C8, C9, C10, C11, C12. And then we can write down the total investments that these sharks made. So we're going to solve it using using the logic or the approach of matrices, right? Wherein we put in ticks and crosses. Right? So S4 invest rupees 6 crore in all. So that would mean S4, in the column of S4, there should be 6 ticks, 6 crores in all, right? So it should be 6 ticks, which includes the proposal of C1, C5, and C6. So 3 out of those we are aware of, right? Okay. Then we have, whereas S5, who is from the banking sector, so his sector is known to us, invest rupees 5 crores in all. So this is definitely 5, which includes C3 and C9. So which includes C3 and C9, right? Okay. All the sharks rejected the proposals presented by C2. So nobody accepted his proposal. C4, so we're going to put a cross throughout. C7, C10, and C11. So basically, these contestants were rejected, so there is no money there. Excuse me. Whereas all the sharks invested in the proposal presented by C8. So for C8, we are going to put a tick here throughout. Okay. Now, if you look at S4, we needed 6 ticks, out of which 4 are already there, but there are 3 spaces vacant. Out of these 3, 2 ticks are supposed to be put in the S4 column. We do not know which 2, so I'm going to leave it as such. Similarly, for S5, we need 5 ticks and that column of S5. 3 are already there. There are many more enough blank cells, so we do not know where to put. We'll leave it as such. So basically, we are done with first statement and second statement. Third, S2 is from agriculture. So this is agriculture. Invests a total of rupees 4 crores, out of which 1 is already known, but not in the proposal of C9. So not here. Still, lot many cells to fill. Shark S3, who is neither from infrastructure nor from beauty sector. If he is not from, agriculture is already taken, banking is already taken. He is not going to be from beauty or infrastructure. So obviously, Shark S3 is supposed to be from IT. That's the only leftover sector, right? So IT is also done. Invests in the proposal of C3 and C9. So he invests in the proposal of C3 and C9, but does not invest in the proposals of C6 and C12. C6 and C12, he doesn't. Okay, so these are going to be crossed out. Done with this? Next statement. S1 does not invest in the proposals of C5 and C9. C5 and C9, they are ruled out. The plan presented by C1 is approved only by sharks from beauty and infrastructure. So basically not approved by them, right? So we do not know which one is beauty and infrastructure as of now. Maybe the latter statements will give us the hint. Abhi tak to nahi hai. Okay. Done with this. I think we just completed S3 column. So if you look at S3 column, we need, S4 column, we needed a 6, out of which 4 are already there. Acha, nahi, we couldn't. Same goes for S5, we do not know. Same goes for S2 also, we do not know. Or zarurat hai. Okay. Next, 4 sharks invest in the proposals presented by C5. So definitely these 4. And C12. So definitely these 4, right? Whereas 3 sharks invest in the business plans of C6. We do not know which 3. And C9, definitely this guy. Okay. So if now we look at S4 ka total number of ticks, it's already 6. So this has to be striked out. If I look at S5 column, we needed a 5. These all already 5. So we are supposed to strike this one out. If you look at S2, we need one more tick there in the column, but there are 2 empty cells. So let's reread this. 3 sharks invest in the business plans of C6. So 1 is already there, 2 more to go. So done. So S2 ka 4 is done. So this is supposed to be struck out. Out of which only 1 investor is common. So between C6 and C9, and C5 and C12, C6 and C9. So there is only one investor. S4 is common, right? In C6 and C9, because there is a comma. So it's talking about the latter, combination. So 3 sharks invest in the business plan of C6. So C6, it's going to be S1, S2, and S4. And in C9, it's going to be 3, 4, and 5. So 4 is common, right? This shark is common. So it makes complete sense. Okay, the total investments in the proposals of C8, C9 investment. So there is nothing about the remaining 2 sectors, which is beauty and infrastructure. So maybe S1 is beauty and S4 is infrastructure, or maybe S4 is beauty and S1 is infrastructure. Okay. If you look at S3, everything is completed. So this will turn out to be 4, right? Now, if we look at S1, we have 3. Right, and then there was something about beauty and infrastructure. May something has to be common. So shark S3, who is neither from investing plus C3 but does not invest. S2. Okay, the plan presented by C1 is approved only by sharks from beauty and infrastructure. So this has to be tick marked, right? So if we count the number of tick marks in the S1 column, so this part was missing. The plan presented by C1 is approved only by sharks from beauty and infrastructure. So whether S1 is beauty, S4 is infrastructure, or vice versa. So C1 ko udhar dono jagah se he has been approved. So we can see that it can be a 4 or it can be a 5, depending upon whether shark 1 approved the proposal of contestant number 3 or not. So it will depend on this, whether we're going to have 5 or not. Okay. Now let's look at the last statement. So it's a calculation part. The total investments in the proposals of C8 and C12 was for equities of 10% and 12% respectively. So for C8, it was for 10%. And for C12, it was for 2%. Now, if you look at C8, this is a total of 5 crores that he got. Now, I'll write it here. For C8, if 5 crores is going to be 10%, So that means the total is going to be 50 crores. And if you look at C12, this is a total of 4 crores. And this 4 crores is 2% of the entire equity. So that would mean total is going to be 200 crores. So these are the valuations of these contestants' companies. At the end of the financial year, C8 gave a return of 20% on the investment. So C8 gave a 20% return, whereas C12 gave a 35% return. So 20% of 50 crores and 35% of 200 crores is the return that they got. Okay, so the only missing part over here is this C3. Now, once this is understood, okay, let's go back to the questions. If exactly two business proposals received investments of rupees 2 crore each, then which of the following is true? Okay, what I will do is I'll quickly remove this animation because we want to go to and fro, right? Okay. So if exactly two business proposals received investments of rupees 2 crores, then which of the following is true? So let's find out how many of these, contestants had two crores proposal. So C1 definitely had 2 crores. C2 has none. C3 we do not know as of now. C4 had none. C5 had 4. C6 had 3. C7 had none. C8 had 5. C9 had 3. C10 0. C11 0. C12 4. And since the question says there were two business proposals with 2 crores, so the other two has to be this. So that means C1 and C3 are those two contestants whose business proposals were approved by two people, right? So S1 did not invest in C3. S1 did did not invest in C3, right? S2 did not invest in C5. Okay, so there is a simple printing here, I think. Ab ABCD, ठीक है, right? So the correct answer will be A. S1 did not invest in C3 because it's already 2, so this has to be a cross, as in नहीं करा, ठीक. Second, if C9 receives the investment made by the sharks in return for 25% equity, so let's go to C5, 4 crores. So those 4 crores, this equate to 25% equity, 25% of the total company's value. So what is the value of his business? So basically we are asking what is the 100% part. So it's 4, hold on. C9 का 3 था, because I do not see a 16 here. So 3 crores represent 25% equity. So 100% is going to equate to 12 crores, right? Option B. Among those businesses in which S2 and S5 invested together, let's find those. S2 and S5. So S2 and S5 invested in this business, in this business, and in this business. So there are 3 businesses where S2 and S5 invested simultaneously. In how many did S3 also invest? So S3 also invested in this one and this one. So there are 2 such proposals where S2, S3, S5, all 3, invested in. So there are going to be 2. Okay. Which of these sharks do C1, C6, and C8 have in common? So let's erase the circles so that we are not confused. So we have to take care of C1, C6, and C8. So C1, we can see it's S1 and S4. So C6 may be S1 and S4. And C8 maybe we have got S1 and S4. So S1 and S4 are common. They both were from beauty and infrastructure, but which one is beauty, which one is infrastructure, we do not know. But still, we would know that the answer is going to be either of those two. Not either, both of those, right? First one is beauty, there's S4 is infrastructure or vice versa. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It's going to be these. Okay, let's erase this again so that we can prepare ourselves for the next question. Okay. What was the share of the total return received by the shark from the agriculture sector from investments made in C8 and C12 after a year? So agriculture sector. So we have got C8 and C12. So agriculture sector, the guy did invest in C8 and C12, right? So from C8, he's supposed to get 20% of, that was 50 crores, plus he's supposed to get 35% of 200 crores. Right? So this is going to be 10 plus 70. Am I making a mistake here? The question is, what was the share of the total return received? So it's not percentage, it says in rupees lakh. Agriculture sector invests in C8 and C12 after a year. So he's supposed to, total is 50 crores and this is 200 crores. Okay, so he doesn't get the entire, no, others have also contributed here. So basically, if you look at C8, all the 5 investors, they are supposed to get 20% of 50 crores divided equally among them. So one of them will get this much. Now, if I look at the guys C12, the contestant 12, the entire return will be divided equally among 4 people because every shark has put in 1 crore each, right? So the investment made is same, so the return will be distributed equally. So it's going to be out of 4. So that's what I thought. So this is going to be 20% of 10 crores, which is going to be 2 crores, plus this is going to be 35% of 50. So this is going to be 17. All the options match. Hold on. Let me read this a little slow. So we have got so basically, okay, let's write this down. Let's not go to and fro. What happened here was C8 gave a return of 20% on the investment, right? So it's going to be 20% of 50 crores. So this is going to be 10 crores. The next one is going to be 35% of 200 crores. So this is going to be 70 crores. This is the total investment. Now, if we look at C8 and C12, so we have got in C12, we have got 4 people. And in C8, we have got 5 people. And okay, they're supposed to get 10% and 2% of the total, no? So that's the mistake we are doing. So this is going to be 10% of this 10 crores, but out of 5 people. And this is supposed to be 2% of 70 crores, but out of 4 people. Okay, so this is going to be 20 lakhs, and this is going to be 70 ka half, 35 lakhs. So total is going to be 55 lakhs. So basically what is happening is the the equity or the amount that they have received is not the 100%, right? So if the return is 10 crores, so it's not the entire return. So it's going to be 10% of that entire return, but to be equally divided among 5 people. Similarly, for the next one, it's only 2% that the company has given them. So total return का 2% जाएगा, and that has to be divided equally among 4 people, 4 guys, right? So that's the mistake I was doing. I was not looking at this. Okay, so 55. What is the ratio of the total returns received by all the sharks who invested in the business of C8 and C12? Okay, we just solved this. It's relatively easier. So we do have a ratio. Agar calculate karoge, whatever we are going to calculate, you will find that 70 is supposed to be here, right? So 70 means the second proportion should be a multiple of 7. So the only option which is a multiple of 7 as the second proportion is option C, right? Or so that would be a faster way. So last question was easier because fifth was done. So like we expected, it was actually fifth and sixth, they're related. If we make a mistake in fifth, sixth was not doable, and rather first, second, and third were easy. Fourth be kind of easy though, right? The last two were not that. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood. So obviously, I took somewhere around 15 minutes to solve this, right? Because there is a lot of discussion that people have to do. If you stay calm and solve it yourself again, you will realize that you can solve it within 10 minutes. What is a good, which is a good amount of duration required. Okay. So in case if you guys have any query, please let me know. So every day at 8:30, we're having the session related to this new, entrance that Narsimaji has brought in. So we're discussing all the sections here. Okay, we'll not miss out on any section. Actually, we will be doing a couple of more sessions, some extra sessions, because you never know how the paper is going to change. Please make sure that you subscribe if you haven't, and like the video. Make sure that you press that bell icon so that next time, whenever the session is supposed to happen, you get a notification and you can join in quick. Okay, share it with your friends. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.